So if you know anybody who should be here tonight to listen to this webinar, kindly send them a message and inform them that we have started. But thank you very much for coming. And with me tonight is Busola Jeje CFA and Abiodun Agbola CFA. They will be our guests for tonight, and they will be sharing their experiences as we have very deep conversations about the CFA exams, particularly as regards level 3. So once again, you're welcome and thank you very much. But just before we continue, I'd like to know that you can hear me. I'd like to confirm that you can see me, that visuals are clear and that audio is good on your side. So please confirm that you can hear and confirm that you can see by typing in the chat box or by unmuting yourself and just saying you can hear, you can see. 5 people and I'm good to start.
We can hear.
Okay, thank you very much. I have 1 person. Thank you, Lola Adebayo. That's 2. If I have 3 more, I'll be satisfied. I need to know you can hear and see. Thank you, Temi. We can hear and see. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I'll just take yours. Okay, Annabelle says I can hear and see. Amina O says I can hear and see. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. So I'll just go straight to introducing our guests and saying a few things about them. So I'll just read their profile and then we can pick it up from here. But before then, I should say that this meeting starts now with a welcome and introduction, then interview of our guests, a very brief conversation about presentation about New Frontiers Learning Center. Then we take question and answers from everyone, and then we can call it a wrap this evening. This typically takes between 90 minutes and 120 from our experiences in the past, but it's always inspiring. And trust me, when it's time to leave, you really would not want to. So once again, you're welcome. So I'll just take the profiles of our guests and let me start with Busola Jeje. So Busola Jeje is an investment professional with solid experience in investment management, sell-side research, and wealth advisory. She is currently a portfolio manager with one of Africa's fastest growing investechs, that's Cowrywise. She has previously worked as an equity research analyst with Telima, formerly Exotics Capital and United Capital PLC Group, covering the lifeblood of the Nigerian economy, that's the banking and the energy sectors. She has a first-class degree in economics from Covenant University, and she is a CFA charter holder. So welcome, Busola. We're excited to have you tonight. You're muted, though.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Busola. Okay, so I'll just take Abiodun's profile. Abiodun Agbola is an Associate Vice President at FMDQ Securities Exchange Limited, where he leads the derivatives market group with over 7 years experience in financial markets, covering areas such as product development, market architecture, and financial markets education. He's passionate about strengthening the Nigerian economy through innovative and credible financial markets. And when he's not working, he enjoys playing chess, video games, swimming, and reading in the company of his beautiful dogs. So welcome, Abiodun. We're excited to have you tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Okay. You're not going to do that, right? Okay, so we'll get to hear what you are not saying during the course of the interview, right? So you're welcome once again, and everyone, thank you for joining. We're excited to have you. And please, during the course of the meeting, if you have questions, you can begin to drop them in the chat box, and then we can pick it, during the course of the meeting. But we're going to have an exciting time tonight. So let's just go straight into it. It's level 3. There's no need going around. And at some point, the first question I intend to ask you guys tonight, I had some doubt about it, saying it's level 3, let's just get into it. But I think it's important to still ask, right? And I will just ask you that question straight away. And I like to ask why you I mean, you've already told us a bit about your background, and you can still say a few things if you think there's something we missed out, alongside this question. But why did you opt for a career in finance? I would say one would think you're in level 3, and that's it. You probably have this sorted out. You probably had this well thought out, and every other person on this call probably already did. But somehow we can find some inspiration from that as well. Right? You see, because I always tell people the CFA is not a marathon. The CFA exam is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? So, and if you do not have a strong why, chances are along the journey, you'll be asking yourself in our own balance, who sent me work, right? Must I do this? Right? Do I really need this? I'm already a chartered accountant, I'm already this, I'm already fine, why this? So why did you opt for a career in finance, and why the CFA designation? So let me just have you, Busola. What do you think?
Okay, so for me, funny enough, I liked money. That was why finance was interesting.
Fair enough.
When I was much younger, like I wanted to understand like how money works and how people build wealth. And I think generally in my family there wasn't like a lot of like saving and investment culture like that was taught. My parents were just pack like a lot of money in like deposits with banks. So I always just thought like there was a better way to manage money. And that was one of the reasons why, I pursued a career in finance for the CFA. So I always knew I wanted to manage people's money. I wanted to understand how financial markets work. And when I started, there were options between you would see ICANN, you would see ACCA, you would see CFA, you would see a lot of other things. And so I think for me, I wanted the certification with like the best like global reach, global recognition. And then I also wanted the one that wasn't easy to get. it's fine. I wanted something that was hard, like that would actually distinguish me from like, other people in like in the employment market. So that was pretty much my story.
Okay. Thank you very much, Busola. So you needed something that would set you apart, and you believe that your background from home also had a role to play, in all of this. That was probably why you also took a first degree in economics. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. So Abiona, let's hear. Is it the same story? Is it different?
An average Nigerian likes money.
Oh, absolutely.
So liking money is part of it, but
okay.
Mine is not as structured. My background is microbiology. I don't put in my profile. I was a STEM guy, science, technology, engineering, and math. And coming out of school, because I started looking for a job in a recession, 2015, 2016. There weren't a lot of opportunities in my field. But from 300 level, I already started thinking about switching fields, to be honest. And I'd considered two. It was either going to be consulting or investment banking. After reading a lot, I know they make a lot of money. I know they hire smart people. I wanted to be in a fast-paced system. So yeah, I got out of school and started looking for jobs in investment banking or consulting. I landed an investment banking role, and I was happy. I thought I enjoyed it. I would go with my suits. I know. But when the task started dropping, financial analysis, there was training school. We did some sort, but the languages were just weird. They were different. Everybody that came in with me, we spend 20, 30 minutes doing a task, 40 minutes, sometimes 2 hours on Investopedia, cash ratio, liquidity ratio. I want that. So I knew I had to do something about it. So of course, in the course of talking to people who were investment bankers on the floor, Astamic Capital actually, I found out, a couple of people were taking CFA. I couldn't even particularly afford it at the time. I was just starting. So I took a loan. I was working with a bank. And then I took level 1. I enjoyed it because the work just became easier. So for me, it was more in pursuit of knowledge because I needed it. But when I started, I couldn't stop. The knowledge was great. Imagine coming from STEM, from microbiology, suddenly all the meetings make sense. I contribute. So that was why. And when I started, I couldn't stop because by level 2, I fell in love with derivatives, which is what I'm doing now. So CFA has pretty much guided me as far as my and I needed it to establish myself as a finance professional, because microbiology doesn't do justice. Even if I did microbiology, it doesn't qualify me to be a finance. So for me, that was bridging the knowledge gap and establishing a reputation of some sort.
Thank you very much, Abiodun. So again, money, that's number one. So let's just get it straight so that when a CFA charter order is talking to me, I know. So first is money. Money is the motivation. So let's not play around too much. Like Busola now, I know it's clear. The few interactions we've had, we always end up talking about money every time we have interacted. So it's fine. So let's get it straight. But then is it not interesting how you talked about having gone through training school? And I know how much work goes into those training academies. Sometimes you might be there for 3 months, sometimes 6 months. I mean, and then you go out of there and you're working, and then there is huge knowledge disparity. It can be a whole lot. So at the end of the day, the onus is on you to pick up yourself, develop yourself, then add value to yourself. That way you can add value to the market. Okay, thank you very, very much. So like I said, it's level 3, so there's not too much dancing around. Let's just go in. The reason why people are here, let's start getting home. So you've taken level 1, you've written level 1 rather, you've written level 2. Excuse me. Now, level 3. What were your biggest memories? Like, what makes level 3 stand out? Like, there must be something. There must be something that makes level 3 different from level 1, different from level 2 for a charter holder. So what's that thing for you? What were your biggest, what would you say were your biggest memories? Whether good ones, whether bad ones, whether you had to write the exam again, or whether you wrote the exams, whatever. I just want to know the biggest memories from level 3. So Abiodun, let's take you this time.
Okay, that's fine. For me, Busola is tied to my biggest memory in level 3.
Interesting.
And I'll explain why. The last time I did overnight reading was maybe 200 level or 300 level on campus. I don't do over, it's not my style.
We always discover ourselves now.
As the exam was approaching,
on campus,
I didn't do overnight reading. Level 2, I mean, I would study hard over the weekend, read for long. But level 3, the more the exam approaches, I had to start following Busola, Kofo, and the likes to different spots around Lekki to study. so yeah, wow. For me, because it was new, it was after years of not doing that. I did it with them for a couple of days and weeks. I sleep more than I studied. I'm sure she thought I would not go past this exam. But yeah, they dragged me along. So for me, that was one memory. I always remember it fondly because I think it was one of those nights that we were in a class, but then we got to meet physically in one of those classes. And I actually made other friends like Torisha during the second one is not a very good one as well. But for me, level 1 and level 2 were quite smooth. Level 2 tougher, but was smooth nonetheless. I prepared somehow. I just entered the exam or being familiar with the structure of the exam. While we've been told a lot and I've learned a lot about the structure of the exam, when I got into the exam hall, it was a different beast. Again, it was the first time they were using computer-based testing. So how do I put the answer? Do I minimize this one to type the answer? So it was a bit daunting when I started. And of course, like my first 2 questions, I couldn't actually answer them. I was like, what was this? Maybe from 1 or 2 topics that I did not read. So for me, that was it. The third thing is a very good one. When I saw the results, you see, level 1 and level 2, when the result comes out, I'm looking at, is it above 90th percentile or lower than 90th percentile? It took me weeks to even realize that there was nothing like that in level 3 because I couldn't care less. Did I pass? So for me, the moment where I saw my result was also because finally I'm going to have to start attending weddings again. Finally, my weekends are free after a couple of years of commitment. I lost my girlfriend to this journey. And then finally, I could go and look for a girlfriend as well. So
interesting. So there will be a lot on hold, just waiting for that exam to go.
A lot. I couldn't afford to feed. I would have cried my ass out.
I can imagine. Thank you, Abiodun. Thank you. Those were quite some memories there. Okay, so and I'll come back again. So, Busola, let's hear yours.
Honestly, like a lot of what Abiodun said, like I can relate. I also lost a relationship to this CFA journey. It was very wild.
Wow.
So I think level 3 for me was actually my most difficult level. Like I wasn't going to church. I wasn't sleeping. God has forgiven me for that, but I wasn't going to church. Like I wasn't sleeping. Like and like Abiodun said, like our crew was like a crazy bunch. Like the type of crazy that they'll buy one big iced tea and then 6 Nescafe tiny sachets, pour the coffee in the iced tea, shake it, and we'll all be sharing it like we're drinking alcohol just so that we stay awake. Like we even found this energy drink called King Kong. Like I don't even know, we don't know what was inside, but the sha did the job and we're awake till 6. Like it was really, really, it was a lot. And for me, it was actually like my most difficult level. I think the only good memory that I had, to be very honest, was when I found out that I passed. But like the other memories were quite like Abiodun said, me too. When I got to the exam, the first question I didn't know it, and I blanked for like 7 minutes. Like I just blanked because like I was panicking, and I just had to like get myself together and just I guessed. And then I moved. How I passed the exam with the Holy Spirit, because I guessed and I just like moved to the next one. But it was pretty, and I think one thing that stood out for this level is that, in level 1, level 2, there are options. And if you really read the curriculum or whatever, and you really studied, like when you see some things, you already know what to pick. But level 3 is not really like that. Like level 3 will ask you, it's like a vignette or what they call that thing. Then they'll ask you, pick A, B, or C, and then the next thing is like justify your response. One of the things I noticed in the exam is that they can say, this is I'm not sharing an exam question, but this is purely hypothetical. But let's say like they ask you a question and maybe the answer is like Black Little Man, and then the next thing is to justify why the other 2 options is not the answer. Like why? Like, bro, I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare for that. Like, so you actually have to know like why one is correct and why like everything else is not correct and won't be like applicable in that situation. So it was a very, very different dynamic for me.
Thank you very much. So again, what I see from this is it's personal. It gets really personal. You really can't. So by the time you add the CFA to your name, it's like it's a part of you. It's not like the thing is far away from you. No, that's not what it is. That's what I see from there. So it's the experiences, the memories are personal and they are touching across borders. You see, and people need to be reminded. So I know the audience is level 3. Right, it's a level 3 audience that we have here, but sometimes you might need to be reminded, particularly if it was beautiful and smooth like Abiodun's case in level 1 and 2. You said it was smooth. I'm just quoting here. So it's possible to just assume and carry that assumption, or just and hopefully that you can let's calm down. We can add a little bit of socials. It won't affect anything. Excuse me. But then you might be surprised. You don't want that happening at level 3. I think that even whatever experiences anybody has had at level 1 and 2, I think that at level 3 is the level where you really don't want to be failing the CFA exams. To be honest, you're on your way out. Yeah. So, and when I relate with students, with candidates rather, I rather say you want to be in a position where by the time you look back, you're walking out of that exam hall and you look back, you want to be able to say, you don't want to just say, I gave my best. You pretty much want to be saying, I gave my all. Like there was nothing more I could have done.
Yeah.
Right. And many times we actually know deep down if we had given our all or not. It's not something that someone has to answer for you, as it were. So pretty much the experiences are personal, and people need to be reminded about this. And that's why I'm asking, just so you know that it's not just that way, and all that. So when it comes to preparation, so let me ask this. So memories about preparations. So you've talked about how it affected relationships, how it affected life and all that. So there's work, and your work was ongoing. You guys were probably working. You're probably studying. You're probably taking classes and all kinds of things. So any memories from those ones from that side?
Okay, I can take this one.
Please take it.
Yeah, fine. And it is because somebody is asking a question that sort of my response would probably also address that particular question.
Excellent.
Were you studying daily? How many months did it take? So for me, studying during the week doesn't work so much for me. Till I met Sola and Co. Like I said, I follow that study at night. But typically level 1 and level 2, I don't study during the week because it was difficult. I tried this in level 1, and then I set targets of how many hours I want to study during the week, maybe 4 hours per day. And then 9 p.m., 10 p.m., I'm still at work, and then I'm exhausted. And then I start feeling like a failure right from the start, and right from preparation. So level 2, even towards the end of level 1, I just completely yanked off the idea of studying during the week. My study typically starts over the weekends, and every spare time I have during the weekend, I try to rest a lot and then study in between classes and stuff. And then the 1 week leave or 2 weeks leave, that usually 2 weeks leave, that I'm able to get off work is really for study. I sort of put 10 hours per day across those times. In 2 weeks, I can get 120 hours. I study 10 hours per day for 12 days of the 14 days. So I started building my study time around the days that work can absolutely not touch. That doesn't mean I would not study during the week. So if I'm able to get off work early, bonus. If I'm not able to get off work early, I'm not annoyed at anybody. I know that my study time is back. And I typically shoot for studying 400 hours before the exam. I know recommendation is 300 hours on the average. So that's how I build around it, such that anything I have for my weekly study, and I try to maybe 1 hour in the morning, but I don't bank on it. I may wake up late, I may sleep late, I may be tired. But I found out that on the average, I was able to get 5 to 10 hours in a week during a weekday. Then the weekend, I do the hard work. I just, study as much as I can. I wake up early. So for example, I go to class Friday evening. When I get home, I'm going to bed. Then I wake up very early, like 4 a.m. on Saturday, and I study for as much as I can till I go to class. Typically read ahead of class. And then when I'm back from class, I'm honestly tired. I read, I eat, and I sleep. Then Sunday morning, I wake up very early as well. Because when you sleep by 10 or before 10, you're awake by 3, 4 most of the time. I study again up until the time. Our lectures were actually virtual then. I think COVID was still. Yeah, so I study right up until the time I'm sitting down in class, and that was it, to be honest. But after classes, I think that was about like 3 weeks to a month gap for you to now study unrestricted. Those weekends were just for study, practicing questions, and those weeks, 2 of them coincided when I was also on leave. So for me, that was the memory. In terms of materials that I used, because someone is asking, I used CFA curriculum almost entirely. For level 1 and 2, CSM curriculum as well. I did listen to IFT and then class lectures. But for level 3, to be honest, listened to some videos as well. And the reason I did that was for perspective. Because this thing, like Busola said, is not really just, sometimes level 1 and level 2, the options help you to the answer. When you say that, I cannot be this or that. But this one, at times, you need to know, and you need to know why. So at times you have a very faint idea. You can't just remember the entire concept in its entirety. Studying the curriculum, listening to class, and then maybe listening to one or two other perspectives, like Malcolm, like somebody posted here, gives you almost total understanding, because scenarios and simulation and different angles to a matter actually enhances your long-term memory. So I remember sometimes the examples from class and stuff like that. So for me, that was my memory of preparation, mostly off work period, mostly.
Yeah. So Busola, you want to say something about that as well?
I think mine was pretty similar, but my weekdays I used it for studying as well. So
I can imagine now. Abiodun said so.
Yeah, so I'm pretty intense. Whenever I break down how I study for all the levels, like people are always I'm a pretty intense person, right? So how I worked for a firm that was fully remote, so I didn't have to go to the office. So I'm not a morning reader, it doesn't work for me. But like at night, so I would try to like finish work by like max 7 p.m. Because when you're working from home, there's no closing time, there's no opening times. Whenever you open your laptop. So I try to finish like around 8, and then I would take a nap till like 11. And then I had I think one thing I loved about this entire CFA journey was like the community that I formed. So like I had friends who all wake each other up by like 11 p.m. And then, we'll drink coffee, start reading till like 3 thereabouts or 4, and then I would sleep back. And because I was working virtually, like I could afford to wake up by like 9, and the whole world won't go missing. And then for weekends as well, I did some. So for me, Friday night after classes, I read. Saturday, I read in the morning briefly before classes, and then Saturday evenings where I like now do the whole like overnight, where so classes ended around 6 during that period. So I would take a rest, and then 8, 9 p.m., I'll start read as far as I can go, sometimes 12 midnight or all of that. And then I'll just sleep. I won't go to church. Like I said, I didn't go to church. Like I would use church, like that period between like at least 1 a.m., 2 a.m. till the next day to sleep, and then prepare for classes by 11. So I was reading every day, in all honesty. Like the day I did not read, it felt like the world was going to crash. So that's how, and it's everybody's schedule is different. But during some time when I had to go into the office, I would get to the office like about 5:30 a.m. And then there's a small corner office that people didn't use. I would read to like 7:30 thereabouts, and then go to work and stuff. So I just, any free time I used it to study for the exam.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So beautiful memories there. It can be crazier now, like Abiodun already said. But then, yeah, it's important that we have to reiterate these things. So it's good, level 1, level 2, but then at level 3, it's a different ball game, isn't it? So let me take the next question, and this is where this next question is pretty much the divider. So when I ask this question now, it just separates the questions I've been asking you, right, from the ones I will ask next, because this is where the game really starts. Now, when it comes to this exam, I like you to share, both from your perspective as now that you're a charter holder, right, and you were a candidate, or even for you, Abiodun, who teaches right now. I know Busola is going to come teach for us very soon, so I don't know where she's running away.
Hey.
Yes. So, but what would you share? Now, this is it. What would you share as optimal strategy, right, or tips for passing the level 3 exams? See, I understand that there will be personal differences. There will be no one jacket. There will be no straight jacket. There will be no one whatever fits all. I understand that there will be some personal differences, but there will be some fundamental things that are the same across board. Yeah. And I think we can agree on those things tonight. So those are the things, because, so for example, it's pretty interesting, very interesting. For candidates I've met from several years till now, during my period in this CFA community, both at the society and now at New Frontiers, one question, and it came up again tonight in a level 3 webinar, is it Schweizer, IFT, McMeldrum, or curriculum? Is it curriculum or the others? Right? This question keeps coming up. I hope that at some point, maybe not today, we'll be able to sit down and pretty much address this on a deeper level. I've taken those questions from people just lightly, but I know it's something that can be sitting in the heart of a candidate up to 2 months to go.
Yeah.
I know that very well, that a candidate can be carrying that thing in there. That is a lot, but I'm scared of sitting down only with Trezor. I don't know what will happen if I sit with McMeldrum. But the CFA curriculum, they've said is they are the people who are writing the exams and, all kinds of things. And some of them probably have to come to class, spend about 16 weekends in class, 16 to 18 weekends in class every weekend and all that. But that's not today's conversation. I'm just saying that I'm aware that there may be some different situations. There may be differences in situations, but there are some things that will remain the same across board. And those are the things I want us to address. And even the differences can be mentioned because your uniqueness could also fit into somebody's situation as well. So what would you say are optimal strategies and tips for passing the level 3 exams? Because at the end of the day, I want someone to walk out of here. I hope their confidence level will be helped. But more importantly, which it shouldn't be, because again, when you're going to win a war, right? So somebody had once said that there are 3 things required to win a war: strategy, tactics, and morale. And he says the greatest of it is morale, really. So as much as possible, right, I want people's confidence level to be raised, but that's not exactly what I want to do. I want whoever has come tonight be able to take these things practically and apply them, right? Maybe not like a talisman, as it were, but some things work across board. And those are the things I want us to speak to. So optimal strategies and tips for passing the level 3 exams. So Busola, let's take you.
Okay, I think this is the part where I feel like I'll have a lot to say. So first of all, for me, my own experience with that exam, I think people have that thing that they only focus on, like the learning outcome statement, and if a concept is not in learning outcome statement, it will not come out, is a lie. Big lie. Like in my own exam, like concepts that weren't even up to like 2-3 paragraphs were there in black and white, and they weren't even they were in PM, the OBJ section. It was in AM where you had to write about it. And like there are so many concepts that like I saw it, but then maybe I had like forgotten like in detail. So honestly, I know it's hard, but if it's possible to read every single thing just so that you cover your bases, like especially like the curriculum, it will really go a long way. Like, so there's this thing after the level 3 exam that you can give like feedback. As you finish the exam, you can give feedback. The feedback I wrote to CFA was very strong. Like it was very, 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 very strong feedback, because there's so many concepts that weren't like, extremely relevant, so to say, weren't in like the online bank, the online queue questions you get. It wasn't there, but it came out. So I would say throw learning outcome statements out of the window, learn everything if you possibly can. And then my second advice is like when you're answering questions, please type, because you would think, oh, you have a corporate job, you type every day, and it shouldn't be an issue now. If you like, it would be an issue because like nerves. I know in Nigeria now the keyboard they are giving you is all those like olden days keyboards. So like learn how to type when you're doing mock exams, like, and time yourself. Please don't ever do like a mock exam untimed, because you will give yourself like a false sense of confidence. Like time yourself, because I feel like for the AM structured response section, it was more of like 60% speed, 40% accuracy. Yeah, so speed is extremely important. So type. So that's my second advice. My third advice is don't do IFT mocks. IFT mocks are known to be very simple, and again give you a false sense of confidence that you know your stuff. People like running away from Fin quiz, but like I did a lot of Fin quiz mocks. I did Wiley, like I did a lot. And I know FinQuiz, they offer like exams in like CBT format where you can actually, like a free exam in CBT format. And, you know, like that particular exam, like I didn't like my score, like my friends were angry, but interesting, like in the main exam, a concept that was tested in that FinQuiz exam was in my AM. And I was able to like apply what I learned from, because people don't like FinQuiz. It's ridiculously hard. So honestly, type and don't do IFT. You can do IFT once or twice to like make yourself feel better, but try like a lot more harder mocks. And then for the I have so many to say, to be honest.
No, it's
And
fine.
then
Please take your time, because this is why we are here tonight, right?
yeah.
So, and even when Biodun comes up, sorry for cutting it. Even when Abiodun comes up, if you remember anything, just let me know. I will give you the floor again. Let's trash this thing tonight and let's help people. So go ahead, please. Thank you.
Fantastic. So when you also do the CFA's online bank questions, right? You know, there are some times where you get some correct, you feel, you know, people just go back to the ones that they feel. I think you should go back to every question, because you know, when you solve a question, like in the explainer box, the side that, you know, is green if you get it, it's red if you, like, they'll tell you A is correct, and then they give like a one-line explainer. B is incorrect, they give a one-line explainer. C is incorrect. I think it's actually good to read those parts of the practice questions. So like I said, like, you know, why certain concepts are incorrect, why is it correct, all of that. You need that knowledge when you are, you know, trying to trash out AM. So it's not just good that, oh, you got it. Like, read the answer, read the explainer. Why is this correct? Why is this incorrect? And then for the actual exams, I think the first thing I'll say is, in my own experience, please don't write formulas, right? You waste your time. If there's a question in AM where you have to calculate maybe the number of forward contracts you should short or what of that, like, don't write the formula. Like, even CFA says it that an answer, right? An answer earns full credit. You would only be given partial credit if maybe you wrote the formula and then your answer was wrong. But if you know your onions, like, just very short, the federal funds rate is 4.2%. He should short 20,000 future contracts. He is an active, like, that is how, like, I was typed, especially for like questions where you have to solve and then you have to type in the chat box. Don't go ahead to be explaining formulas. Just write, this is this, right? And then there are also questions you see in the AM where you need a numerical answer, but you can't actually you can't type, just have to put in numbers. Please be mindful whether they're asking for decimals, whether they're asking for percentage, because the answer might be 82%, but you want to go and write 0.82 and then you fail it because you didn't realize that CFA was asking you to actually put like a setting. I saw that, you know, I had that issue as well in some of the questions that I saw. And then don't go explaining too much. So in the exams, I made sure that I gave 2 points, no more, 2 points. Just okay, why is this? Justify your response. Just 2 sentences, very short, very straight to the point. Don't tell stories. Don't try to be a professor. Just one line and move. Because I didn't have time to go back and check. I think when I spoke to Abiodun, I think Abiodun had like 20 minutes on the clock in his own session. Like me, I didn't actually have time. My time maxed out and I couldn't even, I even forgot there was an option to flag questions that you didn't solve. And I did, it submitted. So please, like 2 points to like a question. No paragraphs, please, no extra, just, you know. So yeah, off the top of my head, that is all the advice that is in my head. But, you know, as we go along the line, if I remember anything else, I'll be sure to share it with everyone.
Okay, thank you very much, Busola. And I can see that Abiodun is literally burning to pour out his heart as well. But just a minute. So I found out a few things you said. It looks as if I'm writing the level 3 exam myself by the time, now that I've seen all this and everything. In fact, can you imagine? So, but let's be like this. So one thing I do, thanks to the virtual world we now live in, right? One thing I do before Abiodun starts pouring out his gems as well, I like our audience to just type in the chat box something you pick from what Busola mentioned, because that's how I know that you're a part of it, right? And I will not continue if I do not see those things popping up right now. So let's do it in 1 minute. Let me see. I need to be sure that you're with me. I need to be sure that you're picking up these things. That's how we know that we're adding value to you tonight. Okay, Lola Adebayo says, don't write too much, be succinct. That's the word. Be succinct with the points you're making. Thank you. No extensive story. It looks like that last point is going to win it and save the day. Right? You don't want the time to just max out. Yeah, it is. You don't want the time to max out. That's true. Yeah, true. Always check the explanations for the answers you got right as well. You might find the right for the wrong reasons. You might find them right for the wrong reasons. So interesting. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Leave no stone unturned when reading the curriculum. Thank you. Thank you, Junwa. I'll stop at 10. So let's continue. Lola Adebayo says, read all concepts. That's the 5th one. Read all concepts. Thank you. Pretty engaging audience tonight. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it is pretty.
Yeah, so
great.
I'm on 5, but I'm not stopping until 10. I won't move on until we get to 10. That's how it works. That's how I know value is being added. Okay, so Lola Adebayo says read all concepts. So you can drop more than one, it's fine. Just so we can move on. I see questions are coming in, but we'll take more. Yeah, read all concepts and try fin quiz mock exams. Thank you. That was pretty direct.
It may hurt your confidence, but just do it.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah, pay attention to units. Yeah, that's the word Bisola was looking for. It's called units. Yeah. So if it's decimals, it's decimals. If it's percentages, it's percentages. If it's just numbers, then it's numbers, right? To the nearest, what is the nearest significant figure or probably decimal places that pretty much comes up? I know in level 1, it used to be like 4 decimal places or something like that. I don't know, but it's not like it's set in stone. It's not like it's set in stone, but I know that there is a way you can do it that will affect the outcome of the numbers that you pick. Because you see closest to, I see those kind of things and, closest to.
Yes, that makes sense as well. Like, I think for the level 3, if you had to solve something that you had to solve different parts, right? Like, your Texas BA2, you can be storing the numbers. I would advise that you store, because 11.2 and 11.2453 they are not the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
They are not the same thing.
They are not.
And it would affect, like, if it's an equation where you have to like go through like various steps to get the answer, it would affect. So just be storing your answers, like just be storing and then use that to calculate.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So I see be intense in your preparation. Keep yourself if possible.
Bro, dollar is expensive. Like, it's expensive.
And the exam is
why?
You get the exam is more expensive now.
I agree. To be honest, I agree.
And salary has not gone up.
Do you get?
No, Abiodun, now don't do that. Let's not have this conversation here. Busola, that your look is not working. Don't even let's never even start that conversation. No, let's not start. Why? You people, 2 of you, please leave it alone. Is that not the motivation? Leave the thing. So let me read out this one again. Be intense in the preparation. Kill yourself if possible. The point is to do it once and forget. I think it's the first chat, is the first comment with smileys. Thank you, Ayobide. Annabelle says, time yourself while writing the mock exam. I mean, you can't even be taking the mock exam without timing yourself now. Just very false confidence will be brewing in your heart. Just please don't even, type when practicing. This one is big. Type when practicing. I'll probably go and get one of those old keyboards. If you can.
Possible.
Yes, you can.
Different from the one on your laptop, isn't it?
Very, very different.
No, that you have a mark that is smooth. No, all
Smooth.
those new fonts, like that new fonts.
You know that Ikeja center.
You should buy one, actually. It's better to type your answer so you're simulating exam scenarios. Yeah. Also, time yourself when practicing. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this one is lighter. I can take this particular question. Did you guys write in Lagos or Abuja? That's a straight question. I can take that one. Abiodun, Lagos, Abuja, level 3?
Lagos. We wrote in Lagos. We wrote in the
Oh,
same.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Okay.
That was only
Anyway, so yeah. So although I don't know why this is a question, because but I mean, I remember attending one charter award ceremony with CFA Society Nigeria, and somebody said, having written the exam severally and it didn't pass, so he thought about, could demographics or geography be affecting the outcome of these exams? That maybe you should go and write it in Kuwait or Pakistan. The whole room laughed. You had nothing to do with it, bro. You just haven't found the optimal strategies, for passing, and thankfully it passed, right? So okay. So thank you guys. Pretty engaging audience. I'll take the questions. I see.
SD. Okay.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
You're about to take SD's question.
Yeah, okay, so let's take as this question, though, although I was going to save the questions till later, but I can take as this question.
Okay.
Let's take it. So because Abiodun is coming up to share his own optimal strategies as well, but it's fine, it's level 3, so I can break the rules, it's fine, we can just move things around. So what percentage of the questions in the question bank did you complete? Can you speak more about the scoring system of the level 3? Do we really want to do this now, or we come back to it? So that we just pick all these optimal strategies. Let's come back to it, right?
Back to the exam. That second question, maybe Busola, the intensive preparer, we take down.
It was about the scoring system of the level 3 exam.
I don't know.
Yeah. But when she said she gave them strong feedback, I was like, well, thank God it's not a Nigerian exam.
Like when I told my friends, when I told my friends what I typed, like a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, why did you type that? What if?" I said, "These people are not Nigerians. They don't."
Thank you.
I told them like my mind, and I didn't hold back.
Yeah. SD, trust me, I will take every single question tonight, but so that we don't break the flow. I think we are making a lot of progress, or as it were. So, but keep dropping your questions, please. I will definitely come back to them. There will be no question that will not be answered unless we don't have the answer to them. Right? Like the scoring system of the level 3 exam, for example. I'm not sure my guys have the answer to this, but we'll come back to it. Maybe just a bit. We'll come back. Oh, okay. So Abiodun, optimal strategies, level 3.
Okay. To be honest, I don't like people who say in meetings, I said it all. But that is what I feel like saying right now. So what I'm going to do is I would emphasize some of the things that stand out for me, even if they overlap what Busola has said and why. And then maybe had 1 or 2 new things, but I won't speak on endlessly.
Please.
So the first place to start is what to read, the materials to read. And she has made some suggestions and stuff. If you find yourself struggling to decide what to read, in those moments, don't hold yourself back. I think just be reading the curriculum. I mean, that's, in my mind, the safest thing to read. While you are trying to decide what do you think your best material is, what do you roll with, study the curriculum. In fact, that was the only thing I read. And in studying the curriculum, I think you should, as much as possible, solve all CFA questions that are in your question bank. I did it for level 1, level 2. It's a lot, but solve it. Thereafter, you can now do Fin Quiz, Wiley. Again, Busola's preparation is more intensive than mine was. I did not finish all the questions, so I did not even get to Wiley or whatever. But I almost covered the questions there. And for some topics, I went back to read the answers again, like she said. It matters. The second thing, which is closely tied to that, is practice a lot. And I'll break your practice into 2. It is very, very easy for you to forget that there is a PM section. Now, while you are familiar with the nature or the format of the PM section, you are reading a completely different material and preparing for that. So practice PM session as well. Don't focus all your energy on morning session and then you neglect PM. It will be unheard of that, morning was very straightforward for you, but PM, you are now struggling. It's highly unlikely, to be honest, if you master the concepts to the point where you can answer AM questions. PM should be relatively easy, but don't lose your game on PM section. It's an item set question. There's probably 6 or 4 questions attached to the same case. You don't want to be answering questions with answers that are not in the case. Your answers must come from the case and stuff like that. So pay attention to your PM section. Now, for your AM section, practice a lot as well. And in practicing, I'm not saying read the question and then imagine the answer. The answer is one. No. Write it down. Construct your responses and practice constructing your responses. Some of you just look at the question, imagine the answer in your head, 1 or 2 points, then you check the answer and say, oh, I got it. No. Construct your responses, even though I don't think the interactive learning platform marks those type of constructed responses for you. They give you a response, but put your answer first before you read the answer. It's very, very important. And yes, Busola is right. I finished my level 3 exam with about 10 minutes to spare. Now, for me, that is a scare, and I will explain why it is. Level 1, I finished morning session with 45 minutes to spare, so I slept because they said we cannot go out. It was paper and this thing there in Ghana. Level, morning session 45 minutes, after saying like 30 minutes beforehand. Even my level 2 morning session, I finished with like 30 minutes to spare. Afternoon session, I was tired because the banana I ate during the break did not carry me. So maybe I shall finish and submitted. But level 3, I finished with 10 minutes to spare. And the 10 minutes did not include review. For level 1 and level 2, I reviewed everything and I still had like 45 minutes. So it was scary that I could not review. I was too tired to go back to review by the time I was done. And I can tell you that one of the reasons why I probably finished faster than most was because from GS3 going to SS1, I learned how to type. And I actually type like thrice as fast as I write. So I prefer typing to writing. So it will do you a lot of good, while it seems very, very distant. To actually learn how to type. If you are not comfortable typing fast, take some time to type fast. You can, and I think you should type all your constructed responses. It matters. It just gives you that leverage. To be honest, it gives you more time. You are not bothered about, because at times the tension gets to you and you're typing nonsense, and then you're looking for the mouse to move the thing back and stuff. But if you're typing fast and you're confident in your typing skills, you probably will not struggle with that. Let it become as second nature as it possibly can. The next thing is when to read. I think that one, everybody has their different. Busola prefers to read at night. I prefer to read in the morning. Another thing Busola said that I would like to emphasize is the LOSs are important. Pay attention to them, learn them, master the concept, but don't stop there. In my own exam as well, there were questions that I had to answer that were not exactly LOSs. They were blue box examples. There are some examples that are in the curriculum that are not tied to any LOS. And this is why I say read the curriculum. Some questions came out that they were only addressed in a blue box example. And you know, if you have been reading your curriculum before now, there are also some blue box explanations, which are not examples, just explanations somewhere in the curriculum. They just explain it. Questions came out from there. And some of the questions that made me, where I was startled, were the concept that came out from those places. So as much as possible, cover everything. You can start with the LOSs. Once you are comfortable, then just read. To be honest, just read and master the. And I think as much as level 1 is a test of concept, level 3 is also a test of concepts. It's just that you are now writing the concepts. You are tying things together. You are answering the whys. Very, very important. And that is why I think coming to class, studying the curriculum, because the explanations are detailed. And you might even see repetitions. Trust me, the repetitions are great. Because I can't say that everything that was repeated in different aspects of the curriculum were asked, but for many of the things that I faced in private world, I saw in portfolio management, or maybe some of them were asked in. And please pay attention. Don't say that I've learned this one again. No. If you are reading about the same concept in fixed income by portfolio management, the same concept in equity, read it as it applies to both. It really matters a lot. Don't think that repetitions are not a bad deal for you, really. Repetitions are very, very good. Those are the things I would like to add, really. Materials to use, start with the curriculum. Practice all the questions in the curriculum. Understand your whys, read the solutions. Practice a lot. Don't forget your item sets in your afternoon. Then, time management is important. And one of the key elements of time management is being comfortable when it comes to typing. You are not just sending an email, you are there typing for over 1 hour. It's not. So imagine if you move your speed from 10 words per minute to 60 words per minute, you're going to save a lot of time trying to just write down what you're thinking. So that is it.
Wow.
Please, there was also one more feedback.
Please, I will take it. Please.
I want to give you guys. So when I was running out of time, I noticed there was something I could do, right?
Okay.
So, God bless you. Copy and paste. So you can have a question, again, hypothetical. You can have a question where they are saying, Mr. John is an entrepreneur. He has 5 businesses he built from the start. He participates in risky sports. And maybe they're asking you, what behavioral traits, whether it's friendly follower, active accumulator. So you now pick active accumulator, then I say justify your response. Just go and copy that part that mentions his trait and paste, and just start with, it is because he plays golf, or he's that copy and paste saved my life. Like Control P from the question, because sometimes like it might actually be in the question. You just have to like just add 1 or 2. So don't be afraid to copy and paste. It's very important.
Thank you.
As you are copying, I'll read it. Just read it before you move on.
No, I don't do that.
I did copy and paste on some questions, because I thought the answer is in the prompt. You just need to pick the right point to support, as a support to whatever answer you have picked. Sometimes the answer is just there looking at you. You don't have to type it out all the right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Abiodun and Busola. Thank you so much. I mean, so what makes the night always exciting is when we share the very practical ones like this Control C. I remember we were talking to level 2 students 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, and we had Ikena, we had Chima. I think they are both on this call because they are level 3 candidates right now. So Chima began to talk about how his screen was split. Sorry, Ikena talked about how his screen was split. The questions were separate from whatever. The vignette, is it the vignette that it's called now, separated from the questions and all that? But Chima was saying no, she had to minimize and do all kinds of gymnastics, so it became really practical, right? And then we could help people solve problems. You could split your screen. If your screen cannot be split, then you have to start praying before the exam to find the one where it will be split and all that.
If you can't split your screen, you can have the 2 layers up on each other. Some of you already use it as well. Alt tab to move between questions and answer. Alt tab. You can always move screen. Alt tab read the question, alt tab read the answer, alt tab read the question, alt tab. It's really a waste of time.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, you will be surprised that this will be a lifesaver for someone on the exam day. And these are things you won't read in the CFA textbook. You won't find this one in the CFA text. It takes someone who has written the exams. Someone spoke to me and said, I understood all the concepts, but this computer thing, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Right. So and even after this week, in a few weeks' time, I'll still come to talk with some people about cracking the CBT code for level 3. There are certain, we don't ask all these other questions. We just sit down with this CBT thing. How do we crack this thing for just like a life arc kind of thing, for candidates in level 3. So thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. So I like the pattern. I would expect that our audience will start typing in things that Abiodun has said, because that's how I know you are still here and I can continue. But there was one part you mentioned that I like. While you are still trying to decide between what learning provider to use, just start reading the curriculum. and that's profound, because you could spend a lot of time worrying. Just trying to decide, just trying to do. And that's the problem with a lot of people, even with life, just trying to do. Just get this thing done. That's valuable time that you do not have, that you will wish you had few weeks to the exam. That's highly invaluable time that you do not have right now, that you think you probably have, but you don't have, but you don't have. Ayomide says, I learned the copy and paste part. Thank you. Thank you. It's pretty much a lifesaver. Thank you. I can see the way Busola and Abiodun are just shaking their head and smiling at you. You don't even have an idea.
You saved us.
You did, yeah. Read the blue box questions also. The blue box questions. True. Blue box questions. The concepts, the question, the exam. Then use Alt Tab to switch between tabs. I think I like this one. Unless your typing skills. Nobody is talking about going to Otigba to buy difficult keyboards. In case you don't know, Otigba is Computer Village. That's Otigba Lane. Yeah, it's Computer Village in Ikeja, right? Where you find all these keyboards. You find them, they are different shapes and sizes. It's what the sacrifice for. After the exam, you can just hang it somewhere beside your CFA charter when they said, trust me. Yeah. So blue box explanations, true. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. So pretty much the strategies are out there. It's no secret. And I think that there are things that we can all relate with. But what I hear is you can't go into the exam and you are meeting and interacting with these things for the first time. You must have a history with practice, with the questions, with the material. It can't be you can't get there and be surprised. Those are very dangerous red flags. The moment you get in and you are surprised. First question, you are surprised. Second question, you are surprised. 10th question, you are surprised.
Voila.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You can't exactly. It has to be something you are already familiar with, and that happens by practice. And that's the thing. You have to put in the work. So thank you very much, guys, for that. So let me move on to another question. I see people already caught that. So let's do another one quickly, and that is, so there is this part about preparing for the exams, and to be honest, I wouldn't be saying it if there was no value, right? But the truth is, would you say, and I like you to be sincere, I like you to be very honest. If you think it's a no, please don't hide it for the sake of value for our audience. And if you think it's a yes, please just go ahead. Would you say that there is value in attending classes? And what exactly does classes do? Because you guys have said, you sent me back to, I'm talking like a typical candidate. So you sent me back to the curriculum and say, even the blue box parts, then that thing they call LOS in our own parlance, NASCAM. In this context, right? Read everything, right? Read everything. So what then does class do? What then does attending classes do for a CFA candidate in level 3? In level 3. So any of you can go first. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Okay. Abiodun, go.
All right, thank you. No, don't worry. I don't used to talk much, so you can pick up from. So for me, number one, I think it just gives structure to the madness. The material is a lot, especially if you are reading the curriculum. I always do. And then you come to class, there's a lot of structure that just comes with it. Sometimes I still remember the way, Banji goes through, institutional investors, pension, and there's structure to the madness. Then in class, I learned how to actually respond to the questions. They tell you how to frame your responses. For me, those are invaluable. I was not going to learn them from anywhere else. How to frame your responses, the structure to the madness. The other thing I would say is attending class for me, it's my long-term memory. I'm more likely to remember some of these things because of the scenarios and the stories that, were painted in class. It just helps, it helps deepen my understanding of some of those things. And then there's a platform for me to ask questions. If, I don't ask a lot of questions, but I like that my classmates ask questions because half of the time they're asking some of the things I would normally ask. So there's that. Then the last part, which I would say, which is often understated, is the community that you build. And this will serve you beyond the CFA. I met Busola level 3 actually. And then they dragged me to studying. When I saw the level of commitment that Busola and gang had to this exam, I had to shape up. Why their timing doesn't work for me, I know that, wow, if I fail this thing, I only have myself to blame. So there's that community support that you immediately get that pushes you to actually do more if you can, that makes you see that, look, people are actually bending backwards to get things done. Now, beyond that community support to even get you over the line as far as the exam is concerned, then there is a network there. These are really potential CFA charter holders that you can meet.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I have that network there. If I want to place money with Carry Wise now, I mean, the personal manager is just a call away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's really proud. She's really proud.
The madness, the scenarios and stuff in class, the reiteration, the stories, the different perspectives that the lecturers bring helps my long-term memory. I'm speaking for myself. And sometimes in the exam mode, I can just hear the voice of the teacher behind me. Yeah. And I say it to some of my friends, I say, you hear my voice in the exam. And I think they do sometimes. And then the last is really the community that gets you over the line, that helps you do more. And beyond, the community is just something you can't buy. You probably not meet some of these very important people elsewhere.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Abiodun. And just to speak to that, so just yesterday, I got a call from, so you probably know him, Ahmed Banu. Yeah. So Ahmed called me yesterday and said he needed to say something to me. This. I said, okay, what's it? He said, so he was looking for he needed to get something done at work. And he needed to reach somebody, it became difficult and all that. So he was able to find a friend that knew someone, right? Okay. So he called that, he reached out to that person, and the person said, what we need to, Ahmed began to chat with that person on WhatsApp. So began to chat with the person and sent a message. And the person said, Ahmed, why are you sounding formal? I was your student at New Frontiers. So they say, I don't know you. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who it is, And that's one thing. I know how Ini says he has gone to an hospital before. Hospital, not asset management firm, not a bank. And somebody walked up to him and said, so what are you doing here? And I'm just here to see the doctor. Do you know? I can't know you. I don't know. I don't know you. So it's New Frontier. I said, oh, okay. They get all those things from everywhere. And he was talking to me about a way of scaling the community for students who are out of New Frontiers right now. People who were, and I said, thank you, Ahmed, but the idea is actually 2 years old. I just kept it somewhere for one or two reasons. Just avoiding bureaucracy and all that. But right now we are picking it up, and it looks like, I said that to say that it looks like it's a gift that keeps giving. New Frontiers will be 13 this year, 2023 will be 13 years of supporting professionals, and about 3,000 professionals have passed through New Frontiers in various parts of the world right now. I mean, we export, we are the largest exporters of talent right now, if not, I mean, to various parts of the world. I'm not saying New Frontiers, I mean Nigeria, as it were. We are probably one of the largest exporters of talents now. I mean, Canada is our annex, isn't it? So, as it were, right now, and several countries of the world are benefiting from this. But I think that it's a gift that keeps giving. I think that it's something that will stay forever, and I know by the time Busola starts talking, it will validate the same. So, and please, I'm being specific. What exactly is the value that it has, so that people can, maybe there's a level 1, level 2 candidate who was a New Frontier candidate, that they can now begin to harness. It's possible that you're in a community, but you didn't know that this was possible, particularly at level 3, right? There's someone who joined our faculty who was a student. His name is David Zukbabi. He was at the party where we hosted level 3 students that passed, Busola, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
And he said he met Michael for the first time that day. I think it was the COVID era class. I still don't know how David did, but David said he had just about 2 months. A lot was going on in his life to prepare for level 2. And yes, and he passed, and it was completely virtual. I mean, there was everywhere was locked down now, so he had to sit in. But he told me of how he kept disturbing Michael and kept disturbing me on very personal basis outside lecture hours, and they gave him all the attention he needed. And it was at that meeting that night, and that was February last year, if I'm correct. February, we had it in February last year. Yes,
yeah.
At Cilantro, yes, that he came and said he met them for the first time. He had never seen them, before that time. So I just had to mention that. But then it's over to you, Busola. What value you think this brings?
So I think Abiodun has pretty much mentioned everything. I would just emphasize like the community, because at some point in this journey, like I felt like I was running mad, and like I felt like I was going to collapse. It's so funny because I think Abiodun, you went around, but there was a situation where all of us had gotten to and we were all going to New Frontiers. There was a time when we all gathered to read together, and one of my friends just came in laughing, and I think exam was very close, and they just came in laughing oh my god, I don't remember stuff, I haven't finished reading, and we're just laughing, and then she actually just started crying, and she fell on the floor. Yeah, she fell on the floor, and then we all gathered. It was we all gathered to hold her, so when other people started crying, it was ridiculous. And it was in the middle of the night. So we just all gathered together. That sharing of struggle, it's something that New Frontiers gave me. Everybody I read with, I met from New Frontiers. So community-wise, it worked perfectly for me. And I think another thing that was really important was it also helped me time myself. And it helped me to be more diligent in reading, because I never wanted a situation whereby I hadn't gotten to the topics that were about to be taught in class. And I'm just hearing it for the first time. And, because I don't know, I don't have questions to ask. I'm just I hated that. So I always tried my best to ensure that, I read the topic. I didn't meet it 100%, but I also ensured that I read the topic before class. And then as, the facilitator is speaking, it's reiterating, and I'm honing my knowledge. And if there's any area that I need clarification, I would ask questions. So it also helped me stay on track with my reading. So I don't get low self-esteem in class. What are these ones talking about? And stuff like that. So that diligence aspect. And then the facilitators were really, really good. I think what really worked for me for New Frontiers is that a lot of facilitators actually knew what they were talking about. So when I was there, me was taking capital market expectations, Banji, Abiodun mentioned, initial investors, micro derivatives, all those topics that you really need 1 or 2 insights. And then a lot of the facilitators were able to give tips and tricks and just very salient points that just sort of tied everything together. So classes really did well for me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the community, how to frame your responses. I think that's having someone to hold your hands to do that was something he also mentioned. Long-term memories, the questions from other students, and this is very true. Sometimes you are not even thinking about something, and if another student is thinking about it, mentions these questions, and it's useful for you. So, and of course, the community and network as well. So thank you very much for that. So now we are close. We're pretty much close to rounding up. So let's let me give you, I'll give our guests a 10 minutes tea break to grab tea or grab water. But in the meantime, I will quickly do a presentation for New Frontiers, right? So, but when we come back, when they are back in 10 minutes, I would be here with you. That's the audience, making a presentation quickly. I would not want to assume that everybody knows what New Frontiers does or have certain explanations about the CFA exams. It's actually tagged the CFA exams and you just an information there for you. So I'll take that in about 10 minutes and then we'll be back to take all the questions. I made that promise. We'll take every single question we have as much as possible tonight, and then we'll call it a wrap. But I think thus far, value has been added. Guys, what do you think? What do you think? Well, allow Busola and Abiodun just take a break, 10 minutes, we'll be back. Thank you, Busola. Thank you, Abiodun. So guys, please confirm that you can see my screen if you can. In 1 minute, I will just share my screen and see. Okay, share screen. Share. Okay, please confirm that you can now. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay, yes. Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so just specific information for folks who, particularly level 3 candidates, right, tonight. So welcome once again. This is what we've been doing all night. We've had welcome and introductions. We've taken our interviews about New Frontiers Learning Center right now. We'll move on to question and answers. We'll call it a wrap. This is David Zukbabi. Didn't even remember that it was going to be my first review, and this is a Google review. It's verifiable. New Frontiers boasts a full menu of fine tutors, profoundly sound, who are just as theoretical as they are experiential to deliver very insightful learning at whatever level they will carry you along, even if you are 2 months away from the exams, and that's a story. The admin staff will find a way to place you into the program, and they not only encourage an atmosphere of feedback, but also take feedback seriously. Plus, you get a handful of good investment tips from some of the finest in the field of investment. With New Frontiers, I completed levels 2 and 3 within a 6-month interval at a time that recorded the lowest pass rates globally, right? In fact, studying gets way simpler after attending their classes, physical or online. If you need tutoring, I recommend joining New Frontiers. It's one way to ensure against exam worry. Right? The exams are already tough, so why complicate the process? That's what we say at New Frontiers. Of course, the CFA program, you should know by now, is the most respected finance designation in the world, finance and investment designation in the world, administered by the CFA Institute with about 200,000 charter holders globally, and the number in Nigeria is growing, of course. You end the charter having passed 3 levels of the exams, 36 months of qualifying work experience, pledging to adhere to the code of ethics and standards of professional conduct, and of course, 3 levels of the exams in about a 5-hour exam, for each level, as it were. Of course, the level 3 is the focus tonight. It's vignette supported constructed response questions and vignette supported multiple choice questions. The topic areas are the same. And of course, for level 3, the exams now happen in February and in August. In February and in August, right? Okay, so let's move to this. Now, for New Frontiers, our story is one born out of a compelling desire to help ease the CFA journey for every candidate in Nigeria. In fact, that's old information. Now, globally, we have students from Hong Kong, we have students from the UK. Of course, Canada is annexed to Nigeria right now, from America and all kinds of places, and in various states of Nigeria and different parts of Africa. Our founders went through this journey with little or no support of any kind. And honestly, when you interact with these founders, you know that they probably have no reason to do this. But then they vow to turn into reality the dream of every CFA candidate, and that's earning the prestigious CFA charter, irrespective of your background, finance and non-finance alike. Abiodun has said he was from a microbiology background. We have someone on our faculty who was a medical doctor. Today, after an entire decade and actually 13 years of pursuing this vision, our market has experienced significant leaps through the influx of over 2,000 professionals, forgive me. And right now it's about 3,000 professionals from New Frontiers, and they are revolutionaries in various markets of the world. We ask that you join that growing team of revolutionaries and grow your career as well. Of course, these are our founders. You probably know Ayokunle Ojo CFA, Michael Anyima CFA, Olani Ogunbayo CFA, and Banji Feintola CFA. Why New Frontiers? New Frontiers boasts of a world-class faculty of leading investment professionals. over 10 years of experience and leadership. We're in our 13th year already. We have scholarships, we have faculty prizes, we have discounts and special offers. We have a no pass, no pay. We have mock exams, assignments, testing class to reinforce the classes, and candidate support from community for study body, forming study groups with study buddies. You are assigned a mentor. You have access to faculty within and outside the school for any challenge you might have with your program. You can call them up at any time. Of course, jobs and career opportunities, because people know what New Frontiers does in this market. They always reach out to us and say, we need this, we need that, we need someone that has this skill and all that. And of course, the impact series like the one we are doing right now. Right. This is Temi Busari, says I enrolled for the CFA exams as a biological sciences graduate. You can imagine the burden of transitioning to learning treasury bonds and derivatives. Looking back now, I could not have done it without support and commitment of the instructors. They are unrivaled in teaching the curriculum, and they set the stage for my rewarding career. Temi is non-executive director, Chipakach. Okay, so the program typically we'll talk about the first two. The third one I probably won't touch right now, but we have a regular program, which is a 16-weekend program that you know. We have an intensive program that happens for about 2 weeks before exams, and 2 weeks towards the end of the exam. Still allows you another 2 weeks to prepare on your own and revise yourself after our 2 weeks program. Then we have an executive program, and this program runs both as live and self-paced programs, right? So the regular program, 16 weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and of course, public holidays. Fridays, 2 hours. That happens mostly mostly virtually on Friday evenings. But of course, Saturday and Sunday happens physically and virtually. It's a hybrid program right now, and it's the same experience. I've had students, someone who relocated to Lagos all the way from Port Harcourt, a student from the last program, and said he didn't know that it was the same experience. He wouldn't have relocated to Port Harcourt. Now he's missing family. But again, he had to stay back to make the sacrifice, and he's sorting out himself. So we have 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Exam on Saturdays, on Fridays rather, then 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, and public holidays. Lecture notes, mock exams and tests, it's physical and online, and of course access to class recordings. So you have access to those recordings. After you have joined the program, you can access those recordings on your own to still prepare for your exams. And of course, we can't overemphasize community and networking in class. Of course, the intensive program is 14 days, Monday to Sundays, for 2 weeks. From 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. every day, intensive practice questions, lecture notes, hybrid learning experience, access to class recordings, and of course, community and networking. The executive program is a 6 months program. Weekend classes, has more flexible schedule. It's hybrid as well, just like every other program, but it takes longer, and the faculty and the kind of people that you network with, industry leaders in that program. Okay, so if you can see my screen, we are here right now. This is where we are right now. In terms, we are currently running this level 1 program. It's at this point, it's about 75% done. And the same with the regular level 2 program. It's also about 75% done, right? So just about 25% to go. But then we are here, we are moving here, right? In April, where we start the level 3 program, regular program, and that will run till July. So that's the only level 3 program for the year, except for the intensive program that will happen in July itself for 2 weeks. So if you are considering coming in to start what had been our flagship program, and that's the regular program, which is what most students know and are aware of, 16 weekends, then this is where you belong, right? It starts April, enrollment is on, registration is on. People have started enrolling and making payments and joining classes already. So this class starts on the 1st of April, right, and ends on the 30th or 31st of July, as it were. Okay, so we'll move on from this to the next thing. This is a 2 weeks intensive program in April. It's for level 1 and 2. If you know anybody who you think would benefit from this, a colleague at work or somebody, please refer them to us and let us know. Enrollment ends on the 31st of March for the intensive program. So it's a 2-week intensive program, Monday to Sundays, for folks who have been studying on their own, but then they need some final tips. They need someone to hold their hands. Questions will be solved, how to frame your responses and all that in class. Then this is the program for them. Of course, this is your own program for the August 2023 CFA exams. And for folks who probably want to write in February next year, can actually will probably still enroll in this program because it only happens once a year now. The level 3 program is just once in a year right now. And then it helps you prepare for the exam. So start date, of course, is April 1st. I've said that before, 2023. The classes are physical and online. You can join our classes both physically and virtually. And on days you can't make it to the physical class, you can join virtually from wherever you are and still enjoy maximum live participation. And if you will not be able to join physically at all, it's perfect. So whether you're a physical student or online student, you will have access to the learning management system. You will have access to the recordings, you will have access to faculty, you have access to everything New Frontiers. So right, there's no reason to miss classes anymore. But if you have to, you would have access to the recordings of those classes, even after your exams, as it were. Okay, so this was for Lakegbero. I was initially overwhelmed by the volume required to be covered. New Frontiers made the entire process easy. The teachers are very patient and ensure they carry everyone along. They're available to answer questions even outside class. And the admin staff are also very helpful. They listen and provide suggestions on how to make the process easy. So if you intend to enroll, and we hope that you are, please enroll today. Enroll today at newfrontierslearning.com//enroll. And these are the numbers to call, right? Join New Frontiers today. Of course, follow us on LinkedIn at New Frontiers Learning Center. And I must say that this session we are hosting right now is happening live on YouTube. So immediately after this session, the recordings will be there. You can share with somebody you think needs it, and you can share the link with someone who needs it, and you can watch again and listen to these things again. Repetition reinforces learning. So it will not be a bad idea. If you want to go back to it, it will be there on youtube.com/New Frontiers Learning Center. Of course, subscribe to it so you can get notifications when we have new videos for you and all that. So this is the number to call Obafemi on 07067278574 and Isiaka on 08170634754. You can pick this, you can do a screenshot right now if you would like to contact these people via phone calls or WhatsApp, and they will be able to help you settle in. Okay, I hope that my guests are back now, and then I can just move on from here. Okay, so do I still have everybody? Are we still there? Let's do this. Let's get back to work. Okay, let me know that you're still here. I see most of us are still here. Okay, cool. So Bisola is here. I think Abiodun is joining us as well. Okay, Abiodun is here. Cool. All right then. So this is where we take questions. This is where we take questions and questions and questions and questions. Whether questions as regarding the New Frontiers program, but more importantly, as regarding the level 3 exams. Which is pretty much the reason why we are here tonight. So thank you once again, Busola and Abiodun, for doing this. We really appreciate this. I know a lot of value has been added, but let's start taking the questions. So I'll take I'm scrolling to the very beginning to look for the questions that have come in. Then I'll just read to you. Then any of you can take on these questions. Yeah, Abiodun took this question on advice on taking IFT, MM, and CFA and all that. I remember. Okay. Were you studying daily? How many months did it take you to study and prepare for the exam? I think this is a valuable question. You want to? Someone wants to go? Oh, we already answered it, right? I think we answered it.
Yeah, Busola, right?
Yes. Busola was daily. You were weekends. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you have to find what works for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but if you find yourself in a community like Busola's community, then you will read daily. And if you find yourself in a community like Abiodun's community alone, only Abiodun's, like a community of Abiodun's alone, not Abiodun's that have met Busola's, right? If it's Abiodun's alone, then you most likely be sticking to the weekend. But if it's an Abiodun that has met a Busola, then you will be converted to daily, to weekends, to days in between, right?
Anytime.
All kinds, anytime, every time. Oh, all right. Okay, so let me move on. So how did you feel after? Please go ahead, Abiodun. Please.
No, I was going to say the person asked how long you should study for. At the end of the day, I say game it out. It's a question of how many hours you need to study for. And then if you are supposed to study for 300 hours, then it's a question of how much can you do in a week. You just plan ahead, ask yourself reasonably, conservatively, how many hours can I study in a week without stretching anything, without breaking anything, without losing boyfriend, husband, you know. Once you do that, then game it over that period and then study. Now, if you can do more than that, that's bonus. Then you can do 354. So at the end of the day, it is how much can you study in a day, to be honest. Every time I game it out, usually like 3 months for me, 3 to 4 months of extra study. Yeah.
Okay. So study for you means you've read that curriculum back to back. Is that what you're saying? You've done all the questions on the ecosystem. What else?
Yeah. For me, that is it.
Okay.
For Bukola's crowd, it may be a little more intense than that.
And I'm coming to actually.
10 classes. I studied the curriculum, and then I solve questions online. Now, for ethics and certain things, I listen to IFT because not a lot. So I just listen to IFT over and over again. I really do. After level 1, I don't read ethics again, and I always score above 70%. So I just, level 3, I went to read those new, the GIFs and stuff.
GIFs, yeah.
But standard and everything, I didn't open them.
They don't change.
I just listen to
they don't change.
I don't change. I just listen to videos in fact, I don't even count it as part of my study time. I listen to it as I'm going to work, driving to work, coming back home, driving to work, coming. But I did 1 month. I know the next thing IFT wants to say.
And I think that's even more intense, you see, because you formed a pattern and repetition reinforces more than you can think, right? So it's like when you learn how to drive, you are mindful, the way you are mindful holding the steering wheels. There's a way you are just driving. You are careful. You are pulling the gears. You are looking at the gear before you switch. If you drive a manual, for example, right, or even automatic vehicle, you are just extra careful. But then you get to a point where you can now have a conversation with somebody when you are driving. You can you can take a drink, of course, depending on the city where you are at to, and the last mile is not there to catch you and all that. Yeah, but then. That's that. So thank you very much. So even at that, even though it looks as if you were not studying it, trust me, a whole lot was going on unconsciously, right? And So Busola, talk about that, please.
Okay, so for me, I did level 2 in December 2020. So I think results early. I think it was early December. The results came in January. And then I started reading immediately. Results came out, and my level 3 exam was in August. So that's roughly like 6-7 months. Yeah.
Now Abiodun is laughing. That this gang, this gang, people will kill somebody. But is it not better? So because we are different, aren't we? So I remember, so there was a woman who had spoken about how she has 2 daughters, and so the first one used to, the second one used to wonder why she had a lesson teacher, she had a coach, but the first one is always running around and she was fine. And she wondered, were we born by the same mom? Right. Today she holds a PhD and all that. And the mom gave her an explanation and said, see, simple. Your sister is like a sponge or a foam. When you throw into water, it absorbs water easily. Right. So That's how our brain is. You, it's like a rock. It has to be chiseled in, right?
Yeah.
Now, saying it looks negative, but there is an upside. Now, the upside for the chiseled one is that you can't wipe it off. You can't wipe what you have inscribed into it. It stays longer, right? So we get to a coach, it stays longer. But of course, for the foam, the downside is that it will evaporate very, very soon, right? After exams, actually. I mean, you don't even want to read a signboard, like some people say, a billboard or something. Exactly. So, all right. So thank you. Okay, so let's take another one. How did you feel after taking the level 3 exams? Did you feel 100% sure that you will pass? I think Busola mentioned something about that. So let me take you again, Busola.
No.
Yeah, I remember you
did
said
not.
no.
Till that email came in, like till that email, I thought I was going to fail. Like one of my friends, one of my friends, like when we finished AM and he came out of the exam, he just started screaming, AM has killed me, AM has killed me. Like the proctors were looking at us, like I had to go and like sit him down, say calm down. Like I didn't think I was going to pass. Like I had panic attacks. I had like God forgive me. I don't go to church, but after exam, I started praying. I started going to church. I started crying to God that I beg. Like I can't do this again. Like that was. I didn't think I was going to. So that email came. I wasn't confident.
Thank you very much. Abiodun, how about you? Was it the same?
Yes. And for me, I'm going to put some context. When I was preparing for level 1, I was coming from microbiology. I was not all that confident, but I attended lectures. Then the results came out. I'm like, 90%. I was happy. I think she had 90% to level 1 and level 2.
I know, Anna.
Level 2, I wrote the exam. And I got back to the office, and my boss asked me how far. I said, I'll pass. And then she was like, that was cocky. I said, the feeling after the exam, I know I will pass. I said, what I don't know is whether it will be 90% or not, but I'll pass. I'm feeling almost exactly the same as level 1. So, like, but level 3.
Oh, God.
It was in the hands of the Lord.
Yeah, it's always is.
Yeah. Like, it's because the exam format is just so different. I wasn't sure. For the afternoon session, I was sure I did well, to be honest. It's that AM, I wasn't confident, to be honest. When the email came in, then we thank the Lord.
We thank God, actually. Thank you very much. So what percentage of the questions in the question bank did you complete? Can you speak more about we talked about this already, but can you speak more about the scoring system of the level 3 exam? And I remember, Busola, you were actually sending a signal to me, please.
Yes, so for that one, right, you would know on exam day when you're about to start. So the first screen you would see is that, there's the morning session, there's the afternoon session. And right there, like you see the waiting, you might say AM is 55%. I think in my exam, AM was 55, PM was 45. Okay. But as at the start of the exam, it would show you that AM, the waiting of AM in scoring, and then PM session. And then for the structured, so I think it was for both, but for the structured response, when you get to a question, it would show you what topic it is, and it will show you the points allotted to that question. So you might see, behavioral finance, 12 points, capital market expectations, 12 points, institutional, 18 points. Like after the exam, like I was able to know which of the concepts were more like tested than the other, but you would see the points as you go through. So you know, okay, maybe they brought too much behavioral finance questions, or they brought too much fixed income portfolio management, but you would see the points at the beginning of every question.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so maybe we should just move on with the questions so that we don't flog that too much. But thank you for that. So the morning sessions will weigh more than the evening, typically.
Perhaps? Yes. From my own, it did.
Okay. Abiodun, you want to say something to that, or is it the same for you?
No, I can't remember the weight,
I mean, I can remember.
I wrote the exam.
Now we know
if you answer correctly.
Now we know who was intense, and we know who was the foam, and we know who was the rock, right? As it were. All right. Thank you very much. So one quick one. I was trying to scroll down the questions. Then after taking that question, I remember the audience putting some comments. Then I got to one comment. I had to stop again and have a good laugh. So be intense in their preparation. Key yourself if possible. The point is to do it once and forget. We won't forget this one in a hurry, actually. I think you should grab that thing and put it on LinkedIn on Monday as excerpts from our time out with the CFA level 3. Let's talk. Okay then. So just scrolling too carefully. I do not want to miss any question because I made a promise. Yes. Okay. SD says, please don't forget the question above. I'm sure I've taken it now. Then, what percentage of the question bank we've taken that? Can you speak more about the scoring system? Yes. How did you feel after the exams? Yes, we've done that. And learn the copy and paste part. Okay. You emphasized, good. Okay, so Lola Adebayo says, you emphasized on reading the curriculum. Did you use the interactive sessions or the ebooks? But let me take this one quickly. She says, are classes online or physical? I don't know if you listened to the presentation, but they are physical and online. They are both physical and online. So you choose. It's the same experience. So you choose whatever you like. It's a hybrid situation. All right. So did you get that? You emphasize on reading the curriculum. Did you use the interactive sessions or the ebooks? Oh, okay. You can see Abiodun's books.
I always read hard copy, level 1.
Okay.
Level
All
2,
right.
level 3.
Okay.
And for me, it's easy because I'm staring at my screen from morning to evening.
Thank you.
So if I am off work, I want to feel like I'm off work. It's not because I love carrying paper or whatever, but I can rest. It feels like I'm doing something that is not work. I'm not looking at my screen. So I always buy the hard copy curriculum, $150. I'm not saying you should buy it. $1 was not that expensive then. So I just picked out one of them, and I still refer to them.
Okay. Usola,
I did ebooks.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure you can highlight them. You can make annotations on those ebooks, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Excellent. So pretty much is the experience for you. So for someone who is reading on a tab, for example, is different from when you are staring on it on a laptop. So yeah, and the fact that it's on your mobile anyway, it can sit on your mobile as well, is pretty much invaluable to some people. Yeah. Okay, so we took that question. Thank you very much. Okay, please. Okay, so this is Laolu. Please, what are the discounts available for regular attendees, and can fees be paid in installments, and how many installments are? Yes. So I will take the question on, yes, there are discounts for regular attendees. For if you're coming back to a certain level, we have an automatic discount because we want you. It's one of the ways we support you until you pass. So we wouldn't bill you the same amount that we bill people who are coming into that level at, as it were, at New Frontiers. Of course, we can work out installmental payments. We've done this before. It's fine. Although it doesn't apply to level 3, but I must say that this year we gave out the highest number of scholarships we ever did, ever in the history of New Frontiers Learning. So we are still in the business of supporting candidates. It's not, in fact, that's the reason why we are open. We are in the business of supporting candidates. So yeah, so please reach out to those numbers. Bafemi and Isiaka will be able to give you more details about this. But then we are here to support you, whatever the circumstances are. A student reached out to me and was like, I said, why weren't you in class last week? And he said, because I haven't made payment. I said, is it the payment you will never make, or the one you will still make? So if you have challenge, so because you will make this payment and you will have lost value. So, but you can't do it by keeping quiet. You need to reach out. We don't know what you're thinking. The circumstances will be different from everybody. We can work things out. Yes, there are certain things that are policy, but to be honest, New Frontiers is one of the most flexible organizations you'll find out there. Trust me, more flexible than Mark Meldrum, more flexible than Kiplan Trezor, more flexible than Wiley. That's why we're here. Right? And New Frontiers is a gift that keeps giving. That one I know. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't. There's not. What would you expect me to say anyway? But again, beyond the fact that I work there, it's amazing what New Frontiers is doing in our market. You have to be a part of the family to understand. You won't understand from just this talk. You have to taste and see that the Lord is good. All right. Thank you, Busola. I see you're nodding to that, but it doesn't mean I'm still not coming for my dollars that you are keeping. Okay. All right. So this is Lola Adebayo saying, for gifts and ethics, IFT with a question mark. Lola, if my guests do not understand your question, you will need to unmute and explain so we can do this. Then, did you use the learning ecosystem fully or ebooks for studying the curriculum? I think we talked about this, but I'm willing to take it again. We can go ahead. So, who's going first? Anybody, please.
Oh, okay. I use both, to be honest, and I did the learning ecosystem. Like, I mean the flashcards, and then I know there were flashcards and all of that. I didn't do that. Just the hardcore material, like the curriculum, and then the online bank. Those are the two things that I used.
Okay, that's fine. Abiodun, same.
Just question bank, then my hard copy book.
Curriculum. Okay, that's fine. So it's the same experience for you. It's just that it's pretty much the same experience for both of you. So it's the curriculum and the ecosystem. That's the one with the questions. Okay, thank you. Okay, CFA Institute changed the format already, right? Both AM and PM have both vignette style and structured response. Is that?
I don't know. I wrote the exam once.
Okay. What was your year?
When did you write it again?
2021.
Okay, this is 23. So it's possible. Peter Akinwande, it's possible. And so when questions about CFA Institute come up with students, even if I have the answers 24 hours before, I always refer them back to the CFA Institute website. And that's because whatever it is that I say, for two reasons. Number one, the CFA Institute doesn't consult anybody before they make these changes. They have direct contact with you. In fact, you will be more aware of these things via email or the account you have with them than what a prep center will say. Then secondly, I stay away from this because someone is listening to this video now. When someone is listening to this video in 2026, whatever I say could be taken as law, could be taken as rule, right? And sometimes people, you can't really trust that people will go and do due diligence many times to check, to be honest, right? So Peter, I would advise that you please check with what's we call it?
Yeah, I dropped
with CFA Institute. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is it to everyone or just to me?
No, to everyone.
To everyone, thank you. Thank you very much, Busola. Thank you. So Busola has solved that problem. It's the way to go, really. You won't go wrong by checking out from the institute yourself. Okay, so Ayomide says, I never used a single page of the curriculum for level 1 and level 2. Was hoping I could do the same for level 3. And he puts a crying smiley. What an irony. So, Ayomide, you know what the response is now.
The song in my head is like that song that was pop. That shit, you didn't want me. That's
Ayomide, this is where you kill yourself now. You are the one who has been saying this. So formato.
I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible to read other things and not pass. I don't know anyone. Frankly, this is not to say that it's impossible. I don't know anyone. It is not my experience. And from entering the exam hall and my experience in 2021, you guys read down. You guys read down.
Okay. All right then. Thank you for that one. Thank you. I mean, when you say I don't know anyone, and I know you know a lot of people, you know a lot of chat holders. I mean, if you're in the society in Nigeria, if you work in this space, you will know a lot of people. So I mean, that's a wide, even if it's a sample and not the entire data set, it's a wide sample. And you can actually make informed decisions on this sample, right? So please, we can't say more than that. So I was just asking if they use the IFT for gifts and ethics or combined with the curriculum.
Okay, I can answer this one.
Okay, please.
I think it was from what I said. Again, curriculum for everything, including gifts. So the part of ethics I used IFT for was the standards, those things that don't change from year to year. The videos I've listened to, I just listen to them again to refresh myself. At times, 4 times, 5 times over the entire stuff. I still listen to IFT videos randomly on certain topics. If I'm reading it for the first time, I've not attended classes and it's looking somewhere, I can just listen to it just to, but I don't count it as course study. I then still go to study really. But for ethics, so all the standards part, excluding GIPS and those new things, IFT only, just to brush up, nothing deep.
Okay. Thank you very much. I do not have any question right now, but if anybody has, I can still take it. It's about 6 minutes to 120 minutes that will be running this, and I think it's been highly invaluable. I think right now what we should do is just to probably drop a statement in the chat box and say something about how the night has been. For me, it's been inspiring, it's been practical. And I think that's what I like about our Impact Series. We call it Impact Series. These webinars where we are not teaching the CFA curriculum, we call them our Impact Series at New Frontiers. And to be honest, I think they are practical. I think they are inspiring because the game is different at level 3, right? If it's level 1 and you say you're not writing again, or you have reasons to question yourself at level 1, then maybe you can still fly. Maybe for some reason at level 2, you can also say you're not doing again, but it's rare. But you've passed level 2 and it's just level 3. And everybody will say, just do it and let's get it done away with. Yeah, like it's just the last one, right? And we can move on from there. So if I'm not getting any questions, if I'm not getting any more questions, then I think we can call it a wrap, and then you can just appreciate our speakers and say thank you, or put a smiley or your favorite emoji as it were. But I'll allow them give their parting words. So Busola, level 3.
Well,
final words.
Final words. You're not alone in the struggle, and it's the last lap. Just do it, like, Nike slogan. Just do it. Like, if you have to sacrifice like a lot of things, like, I think you should just do it and just get it over with. And you're not alone in the struggle. And please take time out to, like, for yourself if it's like getting too much, like, go and get a massage, pedicure, like, just because it's an intense journey. And if you don't have those moments where you rest, like, you can actually lose your mind, like, legit. So I think it's, take breaks where you can, but just go for it and get it out of so you can pursue other things and, resume going to church like I did. Yeah.
Thank you, Bisola. That's pretty much important to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Abiodun?
Yeah.
Parting words.
Yeah, for me, parting words is, and I think it's from something you said, and maybe the philosophy with which I've lived my life. My life is a bucket of all or nothing gambits. Somebody will say, whatever is worth doing well. Somebody will say, don't give your best, give your all. It's all the same sentiment to say, by the time the results are out, do you want to look back before the result comes out? Before you click on it, do you want to look back and say that it doesn't matter what comes out? I won't blame myself for anything because I've given everything that I can. And trust me, most of the time, in fact, all of the time, if you pass level 1 and level 2 by yourself, your whole will be enough to pass level 3, to be honest. So all or nothing gambits, just throw it all in and then get it over with. You'll be fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Abiodun. Thank you so much, Busola. We can't thank you enough. I see the people saying thank you. Peter says thank you. Lola says thank you so much, Abiodun and Busola. Because Ayomide has been a recurring name here. He said it's been great. Thank you so much. Nice to meet my 2 LinkedIn mentors in person. Yeah. He'll be following you guys, Ayomide. So this really helped. Lola Adebayo says this really helped. Ujunwa says, thank you, learned a lot. Can't wait to join by God's grace. Peter says, thank you, Abiodun. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, Amino says, thank you. Thank you so much. There is no way I mean, even you, I'm sure if you replay these videos, you will know that you've added value to our audience, right? And I'm sure some people will go check this out again. And sometimes I can say that on this journey, if you get tired or you think you can just get into YouTube and play this video again. It could help, to be honest. Sometimes these resources are not one-off, and that's why we ensure that they happen live on YouTube so we can keep them there for you, right? Keep them there for you. It's for you. The things we do are for you. There's none of us writing these level 3 exams, whether Busola, Abiodun, or myself. Now, whether I have the CFA charter is another question for another day. And whether I help people succeed is another question for another time, right? But none of us this is not for us. That's what I'm saying. Busola doesn't need to write the exam. Abiodun doesn't need this information, but you do. And you know people who do. So basically, let's share with them. You can go back to it, particularly now that you know your exams are starting in April. You can go back to it, listen a few times, pick the tips. If you know the tips earlier on, it's easier to go into the exam. You will know what to look out for when classes start and all that. Of course, classes will start on the 1st of April. And it's going to be a smooth ride. I'm sure your teachers are ready. They're excited about receiving you. Spoken with them in recent times, and they are eagerly waiting for you because many of them now teach just level 3, and they have enough time, they have enough resources to attend to you. I look forward to receiving you in school, and I want to thank you once again for joining. Thank you, Busola. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, Abiodun. I can't thank you enough for doing this for us. And I hope that when next we call you, you will respond to us. Right? Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Obafemi, for putting this together. You make this happen all the time. And Mr. Isiaka, the #1 vice chancellor, we call him our vice chancellor at New Frontiers. You do a whole lot for students that are not out there. People don't even know the things, the extent that you go. I want to take this time to thank you and thank you and thank every one of you. And to the big four, Banji, Ayokunle, Michael, Ni, we won't be here without you guys. You had no reasons to start this, and your gift, New Frontiers, is a gift that keeps giving. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thank you everyone for joining tonight. I think we'll call this a wrap. It's 8 p.m. on dot. I'll just let you go enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you at your Charter Award ceremony, right? Not at another level 3 class. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.